So, let's talk about it, right? I apologize, as always. Background noise, it's very hot over here. I don't have AC, and so I need to have my window at least a little open, right? Today, I want to talk about something a lot of people may or may not be interested in, right? And this is break, right? Are we going to be returning to a break meta in version 4? My take on it is yes. I think it's basically guaranteed, and the more I've thought about it, the more I think this is what's going to happen, right? So, if you guys remember, one of my main Glaze videos for Cyrene, I mentioned in that video that Cyrene is the last patch support, and so she will be someone who supports the future archetype going into version 4, right? And that Penacony patch was filler, so it didn't count. However, after some more recent information, I actually take this back, and I think Cyrene is being made as a support for everyone in Amphorius, and 3.8 Constance is actually the support who is gonna support a future upcoming archetype, right? So, for those who do not know, we have gotten leaked that in 3.6 we will have an event, and this event is basically designed for testing the upcoming Elation path in version 4. And the main damage type in this event is break damage, right? Now, some people may not take this seriously. However, there are other leaks that make this leak even more of a final straw, right? The straw that broke the camel's back, basically solidifying everything, which is Constance for a long time now has been rumored to be a break support, right? So she is the last patch character in 3.8 when we make our return to Penacony, and she is rumored to be a break character, right? So likely what's going to happen is just like Ruan Mei, who supported break before it became popular, and just like Sunday, who supported summons before we got all these memo sprites and remembrance DPSs, Constance would support the upcoming break Elation characters, right? However, there's also other things as well, such as Firefly. We recently got leaked that Firefly is going to get her buff in early version 4, which would be when the break shilling is going on, right? The other thing next to this is that version 3 mirrored version 1's archetypes, right? With summon, HP scaler, all that good jazz, right? And so, version 4 would mirror version 2, and version 2 is where we got the break archetype, right? So, there is a lot lining up for the upcoming version 4 meta, at least at the beginning of it, to be break related, right? And Constance to be the last patch break support that supports the upcoming archetype. Now, whether or not they'll fully fix break's flaws, we'll have to see, right? However, I have some confidence in break. I know a lot of people don't like break, right? Because obviously you can't do good damage until you get through the toughness bar, right? And some enemies may even have toughness locking, which makes it very frustrating to deal with break characters, right? At the time when break first released, it made a little bit of sense, right? Because when it first released, they had the highest damage output once you got through the toughness bar, right? However, given this game's natural power creep progression, once we entered version 3, normal units, normal crit DPSs could do just as much, if not more damage without needing break in the slightest. They don't need to waste multiple turns trying to get through a toughness bar. None of that bullshit, right? They just instantly start eating away at enemies' HP because they're an HP scaler, they're an attack scaler, they're just a normal DPS that isn't break, right? They don't need to break anything to do damage. And so it is, some people will obviously not want to invest into break because of PTSD with like Firefly and all that shit, right? However, given how much of a glow up they gave HP scaling compared to version 1 Blade, and how much of a glow up summon DPSs and Memosprite DPSs had over version 1 Jing Yuan, I truly think that they will probably come around and fix a lot of the issues that break has, right? So I'm hyped. Sparkle has been leaked to be Elation and the second half banner for 4.0, which is, really fucking cool. I'm curious if they'll make her break related. However, the one I'm truly interested in is Yai Sakura. And to add on, right, to add on to the more bullshit that is leading or like pointing to us getting a break meta, is there is a DU buff for break specifically for an ice or lightning character. And the most likely candidate for a break character who's Elation to have these elements is Yai Sakura. Yai Sakura is the most likely candidate to be the anniversary character and the Elation character after Sparkle, the same way we had Aglaia as our introduction, second half of 3.0 banner, and then we got Cassie, the next Remembrance character, on the Annie in 3.2, right? It would be the same here. Second half banner of 4.0 is Sparkle, and then 4.2 I do believe is the anniversary, or at least around there, and then you'd have Yai Sakura there, right? So there is so many different leaks, so many different things pointing towards break, and it's incredibly likely that we will get a break meta in at least early version 4. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys hyped, or are you guys not hyped, right? This also means I think Fugue's rerun will probably be either on Cyrene's banner or in 3.8 when we go back to Penacony. Probably Penacony, right? When we go back to 3.8 Penacony, we will probably get a Fugue rerun, right? And it'll probably be alongside Constance, who may also be a break support, who knows? And upcoming Sparkles, maybe break-related Elation, right? It's going to be very, very interesting, and it's crazy to think, right? To me, it's crazy to think, we're so close to Cyrene, we're so close to another new version and new path. I love this game, right? It's been an amazing journey with all of you. I appreciate all the support I've gotten. This is a hobby, and truthfully, this is probably the greatest hobby like I've ever had, right? Like, I've had gaming, Fortnite, different shit, TV shows, anime, but this, having like a bit of a small community kind of dedicated, right, being able to talk about this stuff, it's really fun, right? You're all amazing people. I enjoy having you here, and I hope you guys enjoy having me as well. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.